Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the J Moore Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Well, hey everyone, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It's great to be with you on another fantastic, fabulous Friday. It's October 10th, 2025, if you're watching us live. And you've tuned into the J Moore Tech Talk Show, the show that tells you all about technology, the things you need to be aware of, and some other great, cool insights that are always fun to learn about. If you're new here, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you and welcome from the bottom of my heart. If you are coming out here and you've been here many times, well, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate that. If you missed the show or any other shows, or you want to catch any of my short form content or my long form content, why not trot on over to believemeachieve.com. That is after the show. Hey guys, if you're thirsty, feel free to go grab yourself something from the kitchen, maybe some water, maybe something like a snack, fruit, nuts, chocolate, peanuts, whatever. Feel free to get that and come on back to the show. All right, guys, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this show off the ground. Are you ready, guys? All right. So again, welcome to the J Moore Tech Talk Show. It's so great to have you here. As a serial entrepreneur, engineer, video producer, marketing specialist, keynote speaker, graduate student, podcast host, and coach, and of course, a passionate lifelong learner, I enjoy diving deep into some great stories that shape our digital and technical world. My mission: to spark curiosity, empower conversation, and fuel your journey to, yes, believemeachieve.com. So you can learn more about, what's going on. Learning is not something we just do once. It's something we have to keep evolving to do. I always say, as long as we're breathing, we should be learning. All right, so our first point is a really good one. And that is escape or be trapped. Just hours left in Gaza. Yes, Gaza City was facing its most desperate hours as residents were warned. And it's a now or never situation to get out. With roads blocked and deadly airstrikes amidst intensifying, the world watches as civilians try to escape a fate sealed by war. Would you risk it all for one last chance at freedom? I don't know. That's what this is all about. And I know one thing: all those people there, I could say it's not a happy time for them to have to just pick up, and to leave. Just crazy. Hospitals, schools, and shelter sites are all under fire as the offensive accelerates, and humanitarian groups warn the situation is rapidly increasing and getting worse. The Trump-backed peace proposal remains unaccepted as Hamas holds firm. Civilians face desperation and disaster as the city is encircling, and the escape routes are starting to vanish. Oh boy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, big money, bigger trouble. Yes. Court showdown for Mr. Elon Musk. Elon Musk isn't just making headlines for rockets and cars now. He's in a bit of a predicament in a legal battle over his Twitter stock buy, as the SEC holds him to account in DC. It's a showdown that could redefine what power and accountability look like for the world's richest. So I think this is an interesting story, an interesting trend. And Musk loses the court bid for the SEC lawsuit over the Twitter stake that's to stay in D.C. The federal judge just rejected Elon Musk's claim that he's too busy to face the SEC lawsuit in Washington, D.C. over his late disclosure of buying Twitter shares. Musk argued for Texas, but the judge said his global schedule and considerable means, quote unquote, don't justify a move. The case claims Musk's delay let him buy 500 million in shares at a discount, with the SEC seeking 150 million and, of course, a pretty hefty fine. Musk is trying to toss the case, but for now, the court is staying, well, in the Capitol. So I think this is not over. It's going to be going on for quite a while, guys. And just because you're the richest man or lady doesn't mean that you can be above the law. So, will Taiwan's tech strategy rewrite trade within the United States? Well, Taiwan is moving the chess pieces on the board in a global tech, forging bold alliances with the United States to keep its semiconductor crown. As a global set of tensions continue to mount, their latest moves trigger a shift in the tech and the trade balance between the East and the West. Again, this is more of a power struggle. I think this is what it's about. So, Taiwan is exploring new high-tech strategic partnerships with the U.S., forcing them to look other places, like now focusing on expanding U.S. production capacity without relocating supply chains. The goal for them is to build, quote-unquote, industrial clusters, close quote, through joint Taiwan-U.S. cooperation, boosting investment and supply chain resilience. Taiwan seeks tariff cuts on exports to the United States while maintaining its domestic chip manufacturing dominance, led by TSMC, which is investing $165 billion in the U.S. chip factories, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation. Taiwan aims to remain rooted locally while expanding globally in the industrial cooperation with the United States, despite tensions and some of the global uncertainty. So, although they're helping us get ahead, I think there's things that we have to be concerned about. Are we doing the right thing for America? Are we doing the right thing for the American people? I think that's, what it really comes down to, at the end of the day. I think that's a very, very big thing. And I think a lot of people, are not really, how can I say, aware of, that particular situation. But it's something I think that everybody needs to be aware of. It's not something that just happens, like in one day, but it's something that I think people need to understand, like, why this is going on this way. Like, what is the whole purpose? Does it have a reason? Or is it just about control and money? And, that's always possible, guys, right? It's always possible. But I think most people want to do, things for the greater good of all concern. I think most people do. But I will tell you that sometimes that doesn't always go well, right? That does not always go well. And I think that's a problem for a lot of people to understand, that it really takes time to understand, like, what's going on, what people are doing, why people are doing certain things. And again, it may all seem about control. I mean, I know that's what everything is, about control, but I have to believe that it's got to be for something better than that, right? It's got to be for something to hopefully help the greater good of the American people. I think that's what it's got to be about, but it's important that we understand that, all right? And when I say understand that, I mean that in a way that hopefully gets us to understand, like, what's around us, what the infrastructure is like, and things like that. I think those are really important things to understand. And when we understand that, it's like we start to recognize what's happening in our lives, right? I think that's a big thing for a lot of people, is to understand, like, what's going on and why is it happening and why is it transcribing now, right? If it's happening later, then that could be a problem for a lot of people. But then again, if it isn't, then again, that could be a big issue, right? It could be a big issue. But I want to tell you, it's important for you to understand these things, all right? Really, really, really important. And so, ladies and gentlemen, every chat now fuels your feed. Would you give up privacy for some perks? Well, Meta is taking personalization to new levels, using your AI chat history to tailor ads and content like never before. With no way to opt out, the question is, how much privacy would you sacrifice for a more custom experience? I wouldn't want to sacrifice any of it. And I think you got to be careful the information you share with any AI system, including Meta, because we've seen that they have been very, how can I say, brutal in their game in trying to get ahead. And for them, it's all about money. It's all about the data and how much they can sell it to people for. So Meta AI chats power personalized ads is what it's about, and it starts December of 2025. Meta will use every conversation with its AI to tailor the content and ads across the Facebook and Instagram platforms. If you interact with Meta AI, your chat topics help shape what shows up in your feed, even in reels and ads, with no opt-out insight. Sensitive topics like health and religion won't be used for ads, thankfully. But everything else is, well, fair game for personalization, and the rollout covers most regions except the United Kingdom and the European Union, and South Korea, making a massive shift in how Meta leverages chat data for targeted advertising. I think what that means is Meta's afraid that they're going to get sued with those other countries. The United States is not on the ball with that. Like, they feel they can pull more over on the United States, which I don't think is a great thing, guys, but for whatever reason, they are trying to pull things over on the U.S. So, again, that is a very, very big problem. And I want to let you know that it's something we have to be concerned about. If we're not concerned about it, then, well, that's a very, very big problem. Okay, it's a very, very big problem, because if you don't understand that, then you're probably going to be like, well, what is that, right? I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. Like, what is that? And what is that is something that I can tell you is just a little bit crazy at the moment, right? Maybe you're saying that this is nuts, and I'm saying that we've got to protect our data. Everyone out there is trying to get a part of our data. I was somewhere the other day, and I was learning that in China, they actually do a little bit more than facial recognition. Some people might actually, cover the face or put a mask on it. They use something called your gait. So what the heck is a gait? How do I explain this? What if I ask somebody like what is a person's gait? So a gait has to do with a walking pattern of movement. It's the style of coordinated movements involving the legs, the feet, and the arms to propel the body forward. A person's gait, that's G-A-I-T, by the way, is unique and can be affected by factors like age, injuries, neurological conditions, and, of course, the footwear you're wearing. So in China, what they do is they have a digital representation of the person, and they track the person's gait, G-A-I-T. So now what they're doing, if, let's say, somebody doesn't want to be tracked, so they might wear a different shoe that makes them walk differently. So this way, they're not picked up, because the first time they were picked up. So again, anything that it can pattern, it links. So if it just happens one time, the system has no way to pattern that. I think tracking somebody's gait, I think that's very personal. And I think that could cause more complications as we progress forward. More privacy issues and things like that. So guys, from app developer to warlord, can AI change the battlefield? That's the big multi-million-dollar question. A Silicon Valley maverick is turning heads and raising some eyebrows by building an AI-powered gun turret for the Pentagon. When gaming tech becomes real-world defense, are we on the cusp of a revolution in warfare or something far riskier? Yeah, I think AI has some potential, but I think sometimes we put it in a way that it can't really be, I don't know, safeguarded. Silicon Valley warlord, as I said, takes the Pentagon by storm with this AI gun startup. The former restaurant tech entrepreneur, Stephen Simoni, pivoted from QR codes to co founding Allen Control Systems, now building the Bullfrog, an AI powered machine gun turret that targets drones. Ouch. Backed by 40 million and Pentagon buzz, Simoni's blend of brash marketing and rapid prototypes landed military contracts and wired the startup into DC's new tech elite. The Bullfrog can swivel and shoot down drones in seconds, they claim, aiming to solve urgent battlefield dangers as the U.S. races to out innovate global adversaries. Now, the thing I should tell you before when I was talking about China, where did China learn about that security? Are you wondering? Us, the United States of America. We're pretty smart. And a lot of these other countries are trying to dip into our knowledge wells to see what they can do. And the biggest Game Pass price hike ever is now upon us. Are the perks worth the discomfort and some of the pain? Gamers are reeled in as Microsoft has jacked up Game Pass Ultimate pricing with new games and cloud perks promised. The question remains, will you stay loyal, or is gaming becoming a luxury only a few can afford? That's a very interesting predicament, guys. So Microsoft just hiked its top Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription to $29.99 a month, a $10 jump, while adding more first-day releases and premium cloud gaming. Even with added perks, the sharp price increase has gamers in the industry buzzing about the new cost of all access play. Is this going to be the end? No, I think they'll keep trying to raise the price because if they can get it, they'll change it. So we'll have to stay abreast of what's going on with that, guys. Spacecoin versus Starlink. Will blockchain break the satellite monopoly? The startup beamed blockchain data through space, targeting Starlink's reign as satellite king recently. Is this blip, or is it the first shot in a battlefield for decentralization of the internet freedom? Would you trust your data to a single bold satellite? No way. No way. No way. So, as I said, Spacecoin being starts up and sends data through space and has pulled off a first in the industry, sending secure blockchain data through space via satellite, bypassing terrestrial internet entirely. Unlike Starlink's centralized approach, Spacecoin is building a decentralized network where anyone can move payments and data worldwide, targeting regions with unreliable or censored internet. In a test, Spacecoin's data traveled 7,000 kilometers from Chile to the Azores in seconds. Still, with just one satellite so far, it's a bold move against Starlink's 8,000 strong mega constellation. That doesn't say Starlink's going anywhere, but I do think this company is going to give Mr. Elon Musk's a little run for the money. And ladies and gentlemen, electric dreams cost more. Can EVs, that's electric vehicles, can they survive without tax breaks? I don't know. Tesla and other electric vehicle manufacturers are raising lease prices now. That federal credits have suddenly vanished. With green driving slipping further out of reach, will America shift to, let's say, electric slow down or speed up in the response? I don't know, guys. I think this is something that is, I'll say, a moving target and something that we have to all be, aware of. But as I said, Tesla hikes prices after the electric vehicle tax credit ends. In the United States, since the $7,500 federal electric vehicle tax credit expired, Model Y leases jumped to $529 to $599 per month. up from $479 to $529, while Model 3 now runs $429 to $759 per month. The move comes as Tesla's U.S. market share falls and demand slows, with analysts warning electric vehicle sales may dip without federal incentives. Does this mean that the federal government's going to have to put things back? I don't know. But speaking about the federal government, is the federal government still closed? Unfortunately, the government shutdown reaches the 10th day. And this is crazy, guys. The shutdown-related firings start to begin. White House Budget Chief Russell Vought announced to the government that he has started firing federal workers as the shutdown drags on. So far, it appears the Department of Treasury, Education, and Health and Human Services are among those that are first impacted. Stalemate continues. The government shutdown is on track to extend into next week. Congress remains deadlocked on a funding plan, and the Senate isn't scheduled to hold any votes until Tuesday. The House is now out of session. Missed paychecks for troops? It's now seeming almost certain that military members won't get their next paychecks, which were on schedule to go out Wednesday. House Democrats attempted but failed to gain recognition on the floor recently today to advance legislation that would have guaranteed pay for U.S. troops during the shutdown. Virginia Democrats blast Trump admin's move to lay off federal workers in shutdown as a deliberate choice. The Democratic senators Mark Warner and Tim Kaine, who represent a large federal workforce in Virginia, blasted the Trump administration's move to fire federal workers during a shutdown, accusing the administration of using public servants as pawns. Donald Trump and Russ Vought are once again showing us exactly who they are: reckless ideologues willing to inflict real pain or discomfort on hardworking Americans to score political points. Now, the thing I thought was very interesting, the other day I was going to a fundraiser dinner. You're going to love this one. And so the bank I went to doesn't really matter, but I went to one bank, went to two of the ATMs, the one outside, the one inside, and guess what? The red light was on. They probably had no money. I went to the next bank, same bank, wasn't too far up the road, and the one outside was red, it had no money. So they were closing the bank, and the people were walking out, and I said, what's going on? Like, what happened with the money? They said, oh, we were supposed to get the money yesterday on Monday. I guess because of the federal shutdown, we're not getting deliveries. So why are banks not getting money from the government? I mean, that's probably a big question. So they claim that they're still putting money out there. But again, the government, the local people who need to put this through rely on the federal people. So they had no money. And they probably won't have money next Monday again. And then some banks had some extra reserve, but pretty soon they're going to run out of money too. And this is kind of wacky, if you ask me. Why, and this is a big question, why are many banks not having money for ATMs? I think that's a big question right now. Due to the decline, use of cash, a shift to digital payments, and rising operational costs, it's led banks to be closing their own ATMs and outsource to third-party networks, which may have lower cash reserves or charge higher fees. The question is this really about the government shutdown, or is it something else? Are they trying to get people to stop using cash? Well, they're definitely making it harder to get a hold of cash. So I was going to this event, and I need to have cash on hand for like the valet and a bartender, etc. And so I wound up going to CVS. Or no, was it CVS or was it? I either went to CVS or I think I might have went to. Yeah, I went to CVS. And so I went there and I bought a pack of gum, and then I got $20. I did another pack of gum, and I got $20. So that's crazy that I had to be resourceful to do that, right? And so people have asked me, is the reason, that banks have no money the shutdown? And I think that's a very clear thing to say. Um, and so what the government is saying is that a government shutdown is not the reason banks are lacking money. Commercial banks, including those insured by the FDIC, operate independently of the federal funding that is affecting us right now during the government shutdown. So they're blaming it on that, okay? But really, guys, it has nothing to do with that. So this is all just a convoluted mess that everybody's kind of getting into. So I would share that with you. And Disney fights back, guys. AI chat has gone too far, they claim. After AI bots in Disney's likeness were caught in scandal, the Mouse House fired off a cease and desist to protect its brand and children everywhere. In a world where AI can be anyone who keeps the digital world safe for kids, is really what it's about. And so, when we think about all these things, we don't realize implications, but Disney sent out a cease and desist letter to Character.ai demanding it remove all Disney, Pixar, Lucasfilm, and Marvel chatbots after reports of quote unquote adult exploitation, grooming, and emotional manipulation of children using AI based characters. Disney says the app's conduct is egregious and threatens legal action if infringement continues. Character.ai removed the bots, but Disney warns its fight to protect brand safety and kids is far from over. So it seems like they're sending a message up the pike, but this might not be really the end. And it claims like it's not going to be. Apple stands firm. Diversity isn't dead. Apple's investors just shut down a move to kill off diversity efforts, overwhelming backing DEI in tech. While other giants bail, Apple is betting its strength coming from talent across every single background. Can inclusion win in Silicon Valley? I don't know. But I think that's what we're asking right now is the case of inclusion. So Apple shareholders rejected a proposal to scrap the diversity, equity, and inclusion proposal policy. Over 97 votes voted to keep the program, defying political pressure and recent rollbacks at other tech giants. CEO Tim Cook says, quote, Apple's strength comes from collaboration, hiring the very best people from diverse backgrounds, close quote. As Trump's push to dismantle DEI sweeps corporate America, Apple doubles down and investors clearly back the strategy. So this is a little bit crazy. So does that say that Apple, doesn't want DEI? It doesn't want to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion. So this is clear. It doesn't want to eliminate it. It does want to keep it in the wraps. And only 3% of the stock members voted against it. So that's actually pretty good. More companies should probably be on the bandwagon to actually be treating people properly. And tracking ICE. Yes, the app freedom. Or is it a security risk? ICE tracking apps are fueling a heated legal battle in the United States. Are they tools for the public safety, or are they a threat to law enforcement? As courts weigh First Amendment rights and the freedom against security fears, which right will win out? I think that's a big problem. I think it's a big question for a lot of people. What's it about? So ICE tracking apps sparked some legal debate and fight, but the ban, guys, looks unlikely. The U.S. government is blasting ICE tracking apps like ICE Block, accusing them of endangering agents and fueling attacks. Despite harsh rhetoric and threats from top officials, legal experts say a ban is unlikely. The apps are built in the United States and protected by the First Amendment, much like police scanners. While the Department of Homeland Security claims 1,000% spike in attacks on ICE, most users rely on the apps for safety, leaving federal efforts to ban them stuck in a constitutional gridlock. So the question is, did Apple remove ICE apps from their store? And got some news for you. Guess what? Apple took down the ICE tracking apps. So we're going to do everything in our power to fight this, says ICE block developer Joshua Aaron after Apple removed his app from the App Store. Eyes Up, one of the many immigration and customs enforcement related apps removed by Apple in recent days, was busy on this past Wednesday evening at a local planning session for the nationwide No Kings protest, scheduled for later this month. When a publication recently and other news bureaus had checked in, they reached him by phone and asked to be only identified by his first name, Mark, for safety reasons. The administration will act on their grudges, he says, and they are not afraid to do so frequently. So, Mark's app, a platform built to serve as a repository for videos and other materials documenting ICE's activity, is not alone in getting kicked off Apple's App Store. Early in October, ICE Block was among the first ICE-related apps Apple removed. The decision follows claims from the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi that such tools endanger ICE officers, and Apple has also removed other tracking apps, including Red Dot and De-icer, as well as Eyes Up. So, like Mark, IceBlock's developer Joshua Aaron is determined to reverse the App Store bans. While we cannot speak to specifics right now, we do know that IceBlock has an incredible legal team behind it, and they're going to do everything they say in their power to fight this ban. So I think they were trying to send him a message, but this team is definitely more about a control and a movement than just an app. So regarding the Eyes Up, Mark says he has already appealed Apple's decision to delist the app twice, and he quotes, "I will appeal every single time they reject me until it's back in the App Store." He says, quote, "Because it's pure cowardice what they are doing. I'm not going to let off the gas with Apple," close quote. The ban ignited a fire under Mark, who performing now more community outreach effects and efforts to let people know about Eyes Up and encouraging them to upload publicly documented encounters with ICE agents to the app, which is still currently available on the Google Play Store and the Eyes Up website. So these are some pretty tight things, guys. What's going on? You know, the fact that this is happening. You have to ask yourself, you know, what's this really about? And I think some of it's for the protection, but I also feel it's a control situation. So let's see what goes on, but we will definitely keep you guys in the loop. Like I said, while DHS claims 1,000% spike in attacks on ICE, most users rely on the app for safety, leaving federal efforts to ban them and stuck now in the constitutional gridlock, like I said. That's a problem, guys. Very, very, very big problem. So who really owns your TikTok feed now? That's the question of the day. After months of debate, American investors and a few from China are taking over TikTok's U.S. operations. Does this mean a safer, freer feed, or just different hands on your data and eyes? The future of short form video and social media could hang in, well, the boughs of balance, hopefully. And I think this is a big thing for a lot of people. So Mr. President Trump claims TikTok deal is done. U.S. investors take control. China retains a stake. President Trump announced a $14 billion deal for the United States investors, led by Oracle, Silver Lake, Dell, and Rupert Murdoch. take over TikTok's American operations with China's ByteDance holding less than 20%. The new US only version will have an American run board and licensed algorithm pending regulatory approval. The Trump called situation disagreement, quote unquote, a win for free speech and national security. Even as creators and analysts watch close to see if the new app will keep its magic, we're going to have to see what happens. So you're probably asking a big question is when, and I think this is the question everybody wants to know, when will the new U.S. TikTok app come out? So still in the thinking phase. I guess they're still working on some stuff. They said September 5th, but obviously that didn't happen. They said that in March of 2026, the existing app is expected to be phased out if the sale is finalized. So the question is, when will the U.S. TikTok sale be finalized? And I think that's really the biggest question. But I don't know. I think there's just a lot of back and forth, and I don't really believe anybody. I think until I see it from my own eyes, this just seems like a mess. AI saves rivers, and it can tech finally clean out our water. A major United Kingdom trial proved AI's worth by preventing hundreds of sewage spills into rivers. With environmental disasters on the rise, it's this that we have the proof that we need now for smart tech so it can deliver a cleaner, supposedly greener future. So there's a lot of things happening in the AI world. As AI helps cut sewer spills, 200 pollution events stopped in the new UK water trial. Southwest Water's trial using AI and 12,000 smart sensors has helped predict and prevent around 200 sewage pollution events. The system spots blockages and overflow threats faster than humans analyzing live sensor data and CCTV footage. Experts say this automated detection is speeding repairs, reducing environmental impact, and saving money, pointing to a clearer future for UK waterways. Wow, guys, that's a lot of information about this AI. I mean, if this works, this could even be used in the United States. Virtual MP goes live. Would you trust an artificial intelligence politician? I didn't trust the real ones. United Kingdom just met its first AI-powered member of parliament, answering questions 24/7 with a quote-unquote digital twin. Is this the transparency and accessibility politics needs, or is it just another fad or gimmick to widen the gap between real leaders and the public? I don't know. I think this is a big issue. Labour MP Mark Seward has become the UK's first politician to debut an AI version of himself, an always-on chatbot designed to answer constituent questions with real voice. Seward says it's about access innovation, but critics warn it could further disconnect politicians from the public and confuse those who may not realize they're talking to a bot. The project, created by startup Neural Voice, provides 24/7 contact, but has sparked a lively debate on the role of AI in politics and, of course, guys, trust. So these are things that I think we have to be aware of and cognizant of. But the question is, are we ready for this? Or, and where's the data going to come from this? Is this something that's going to really do something for us? Or is it going to just cause more confusion and more chaos? AI in politics. What do you guys think about that? What does that ring sound like? I don't know. I just think that it could be bad. I think that it could get into the wrong hands, and this tool could be exploited so easily. And there's a lot of issues on AI. And so if we have AI answer questions on AI, I don't know how that's going to work. There are lots of challenges, guys. in having an AI political system. The system always learns, so I guess it can keep adapting and then re-answering questions that might be what you want to hear or maybe not what you want to hear. I don't know, guys. Just thinking about these things just makes me, kind of ponder and wonder. But when we think about AI, right? I think the most important thing we have to realize, guys, is that AI is a tool. It is not good. It is not bad. It's how we choose to use it that makes it either good or bad. But a lot of people just see AI as a way to make money. And I get that it can make money, but I think we have a responsibility as humans to use AI in a way that's going to be for the greater good of all concerned. So AI, they say, isn't just regular software, it does much more. And GPT-5 is now out. GPT-5 Pro represents a quantum leap in AI reasoning capabilities. This isn't just about generating text anymore. It can navigate complex legal frameworks, analyze intricate financial scenarios, and assist with medical research with unprecedented nuances. Think of it as having a PhD level consultant available 24/7, capable of understanding context, weighing multiple factors, and providing reasoned recommendations. Real world impacts: financial analysts use it to model market scenarios with dozens of variables. Healthcare professionals leverage it to cross reference patient data with research findings. Legal teams employ it to review contracts and identify compliance issues. Researchers use it to collaborate with thinking partners for complex problems. Sora 2, you probably know, is your personal film studio. They claim it'll blow your mind. Mattel has already partnered to revolutionize toy marketing. Independent filmmakers now have access to production capabilities that would have cost millions just years ago. A solo creator with a compelling story can now produce studio quality visual content. The question you might be asking is, who has chat, or how much more is Chat GPT-5? So Chat GPT-5 is included with the free Chat, but it comes with usage limits. After hitting the cap, the system automatically switches to the less powerful GPT-5 mini model. So we're no longer in the 4 to 3, so now we're staying in the mini model. So the question you might be asking is differences, and this is a great question, differences between Chat GPT 4 and 5. So 5 is a big upgrade. It has unified architecture with automatic model selection, sharper and more seamless multimodal capabilities, text, image, audio, and video, and extended context window for handling massive documents. Now, people are saying the ChatGPT 4 is better than ChatGPT, and the thing is this: a lot of people were saying, okay, that 4 is better than 5. Well, now they're starting to realize that there's a difference. So many people basically thought the same thing, said this, and today they're humbly taking their words back. ChatGPT was supposedly to be a faster model, but unfortunately, it's not as fast. ChatGPT talks to me like it's a corporate therapist. But I think a lot of people are looking for more. They want to know, like, the difference. And so I think it's great that they're doing things like this, but I think we have to be cognizant that it's got to all be in context. So ChatGPT 4 launched in March 2023. Reasoning is fixed. Factual accuracy is 128,000 tokens. Performance is okay. Code generation, there's plugins you can use. GPT-5 rolled out in August 2025. Adaptive thinking model, 40% fewer hallucinations, handles complex tasks faster, and 74.9% um, 74.9% in the free version, and there's also enterprise tiers. So there are some free enterprise tiers, but I think a lot of people out there don't realize like what you use ChatGPT for. You use ChatGPT to take a lot of information and give you a summary, or to analyze something or compare something. But you have to be the person that is going to know what you're going to compare it to. I think that's the important thing. AI has a lot of benefits, but if you don't know what you want to look for, what you want to scale, it's just going to be another tool, right? If you were trying to cut a hole in a piece of wood, right, and you had a drill, and let's say there are different kinds of bits. Well, the drill doesn't know which bit you need for which screw. You have to know whether it's a quarter, an eighth, what kind of diameter. You have to know those things. If you don't know those things, then I feel that's a very, very big problem. All right. A very, very big problem. So you have to be aware of what you're doing. And I think the chat systems out there, and there's other ones out there that can actually give you some, let's say, some inferences of how to use the tool. All right. But I mean, the biggest thing right now, you might be asking, so what is everyone using Chat GPT 5 for? Some of the biggest cases for that, as I said, the multimodal, deep reasoning. They're using it more in the medical field, the legal field. People using it to generate and debug code, front end development. They're using it to be like agents. People can answer questions like a chat bot. It has a lot more capabilities to access things that didn't exist in the past. So that's a huge benefit for, I think, a lot of people to understand how that actually works. So hopefully you can understand, like what this is and the purpose of this. But Chat GPT or any of the systems out there, we have to realize what its context is. And the system might not always know its context. And then you need to apply those reasoning examples to your real world situation. Okay? If somebody said to me, John, what are the best things in AI? Just a few things to name off the top of my head. You've got advanced data analysis. You've got automation. You can do things with social media, agriculture, AI and healthcare, chatbots, climate changes assessments, digital assistants, enhanced customer service, finance, healthcare, Amazon Alexa, cost reduction, fraud detection, video games, Google Maps, improve your writing style, increase productivity, navigation, personalization, robotics, smart decision making, automobiles, and reduce human error. Many people I talk to say, you can use ChatGPT or any of these systems to help you with a certain scenario. But the problem is if you don't know how you're going to use the tool, like if you've never used a drill before, right? You probably could figure it out. But you might not get the same results as somebody that's had, let's say, experience using one for many, many years. I mean, I think that's a huge thing that a lot of people just don't realize, that it is about that. And so when I say it's about that, I mean this because if you can analyze what's going on, it's important to realize, okay? I think that's an important thing. That's the most important thing to to understand. Okay, that's really the only thing to understand, and hopefully this makes some sense to you. If you understand like what works, then hopefully you will be able to know that Chat GPT and other AI systems are good, but they're all about how things work. And so if you want to think about a Chat GPT system, okay, you have to realize use something called an LLM, a large language model. And based on that information, okay, the system can then learn. So a lot of times things use stuff like, like what's going on, right? And so I want to tell you that these are very, very important things for you to realize, okay? If you understand that, then maybe you'll understand like why ChatGPT is becoming so very, very important. And I think the reason it's becoming so important is that we only have so many hours in a day, right? And if we have so many hours in a day, then I think other things can be accomplished by being smart with that time. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. But if it doesn't make sense, then maybe you can say to me, John, well, I don't get the reason for Chat GPT. And I would just say to you that it's about you realizing its potential. Okay? It's about you realizing its potential. And that's the whole thing I want to tell you about. Okay? It's about that type of thing. And so if you understand that you can use it as a reference point, okay? A reference point, that's what I'm saying, a reference point. A reference point is something that hopefully you'll be able to understand and get data. Does that make sense? I mean, I hope it does. If it doesn't, then definitely let me know, what's going on, because I think if you can realize that it's a model, and that's how it is accomplished. It's accomplished just like that. And thinking about that it learns. And as that happens, it might change what you think about. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope so. And if it makes sense to everybody, then maybe you'll understand that ChatGPT is a tool that can help us be better. Okay? I know that a lot of you are saying to me, John, like, this doesn't make sense. Okay? But what we have to realize is one thing. ChatGPT is designed to look at lots of information, like huge amounts of information. And with that information, then we can go forward. So does that make sense? I mean, I'm hoping that makes some kind of sense. If it does, then you'll realize that it's about to know what is happening, what is going on. And if that is the case, then you'll realize that ChatGPT or any AI system is something that's going to allow you to take data, okay, and compare it to a model. The model may already exist, or it might have to keep building the model. Let me give you an example. Let's say we wanted to figure out the cheapest and most efficient way to get from, let's say, Dallas, Texas to Washington, D.C. And this is a perfect use of AI. we can use things like weights, and not to get into all the situations and the parameters, but things like, you know, maybe there's a cost if we go through this airport. If we go through this airport, it might be slower, but it's going to have a. So if we said, I want to get the cheapest way, I didn't say the fastest way, I said, I want the cheapest way, then we have to compare cheapest or efficient. Is efficient only time? Is efficient only money? What is it? I think those are the important things that we have to realize. And if we can do that, then we can start to understand that these systems can help us to solve or understand our current dilemmas by comparing them to an existing model that somebody else has. Like, after studying for many hours, that, you know, when we go through this wait, or we do this at this airport, or we take this much time, it actually costs us twice the amount of money, right? Or if I was flying, let's say, from New York to Florida, it might be more expensive to fly from Newark than New York, or vice versa, because there might be other things that I'm not directly aware of. So I think ChatGPT is very good at taking those details, providing that we give the details to the chat system and the AI system, and then it can take them all together. I'm hoping that the chats will get better with math. They make a lot of mistakes in math, but they're very good when it comes to details and saying, do this. I do still find that a lot of them, when you tell them to do something, they still can't count properly. They can't understand a simple thing. But when you give it something complicated, they understand it, which is kind of strange. Well, guys, let's get with it today, and let's bring your curiosity and catch all the action with the Jay Moore Tech Talk Show. Your front row seat to tech's next viral headlines. We are on every single Friday, and if you do miss the live show, well, of course, you can go back and you can watch the replays at BelieveMeAchieve.com. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you're using technology for your home or for your business or both, remember one thing. Technology is a tool. It's not good, and it's not bad, but it's how we choose to apply it that makes that so. I hope that you've learned a lot about these really jaw-dropping stories today, and I hope that this will get you to probe deeper in your mind to say, you know what? I think we got to do more of this. I think I got to be more aware. I want to leave you with this thought, and that is, when we can choose to be aware of a situation, we can then look at the measurements. We can then analyze. But if we can't be aware, we won't know what to do. That's the key. Have yourself a great rest of your night or weekend. I'll catch you real soon. Be well, everyone.